All right, real quick here. So the other psychic inference clue that was there yesterday while I was driving home before I knew that they had done this, I was reminiscing of the Marshal Service, about the Marshal Service, and I said, Will and I, it's the first time I met Will, we were in New Orleans and we went out and got drunk, but I said the assignment was over. Right. So you might have people doing some extra stuff while they go on assignment. Again, that's how the system was built, the deep state. They would go on assignment somewhere for, say, the FBI or the Marshal Service or DHS, whatever it is, and then they would effectuate the assassination for like Rush, based upon gold bars, untraceable cash money, that kind of thing. And then also they've committed, like Rush, he has to be part of the deep state. He has. Remember, I told you they have nothing else in life. He's like almost the worst case scenario, I guess. Well, because they're not really good at anything. What happens is they use the system, like for the Marshal Service, we have we developed an immense electronic, essentially electronic warfare department. But an electronic investigation unit, right? ESU, right? So bigger than the really ESU. It's bigger than the electronic surveillance unit. It's much bigger than that. So if you're in the deep state, you would get full access to that. And again, some other people did too, but generally that's how it worked. Well, because some people develop genuine relationships and friendships, right? But if the deep state puts a kibosh on you, then you get no access. Well, I'll try to work on it later. Bye. Or they may even dupe you. Oh, I didn't see anything, and there's something there. I mean, they don't care, man. I'm sure they took money from fugitives. I'm sure of it. To not apprehend them. Those bar tabs get kind of high, when you're in Marshal Service headquarters. Although one of the things that did slip, I opened a new jar of relish yesterday. So I have to throw away a whole bottle of relish. I could have waited just one more day. No, you people are going to suffer, man. And if it's not here, it'll be in hell. Just realize no church you go to can save you. In fact, the church doesn't even exist, man. It's a scam. A scam developed by a Roman emperor and a bunch of Greek pagans. And scam away you do in modern times also. So again, you might have somebody who's like, it's like a serial killer, but they get it. They're addicted to it. They're addicted to killing people and harming people, and they do it through this spycraft program. In fact, that's where I think it came from. Just people that were psychologically unbalanced, spies, that were narcissists. Again, when we look at Deputy Wayne Ritchie I think in 1960s, there was a case, a few years back, maybe 10, 15 years ago, that he started up, that he was drugged, and that's how he ended up in this weird situation and ended up losing his deputy marshal position. There were actual statements made by, I believe the judge just wasn't going to go there. I think the judge believed it happened. Again, there wasn't a whole lot of evidence, but I think the bar was breached for the judge to award something. Right. Or not breached, but the bar was obtained. Or level thing, whatever it is, benchmark, whatever you want to call it. Legal standard was sufficient, I think. Was met. And for me, when I saw it, I'm like, that's every deep state person I ever knew. That's the way they speak. They have a certain language when they go after the person they hate. So he didn't only do Wayne Ritchie. I mean, they could have spoke. They spoke the same way about Kennedy. So if we go to what were the statements about Deputy U.S. Marshal Wayne Ritchie? I spent a lot of time studying sexuality over the years and studying their sexuality by manipulating them based upon them being there and trying to manipulate me. So I know there's sexual pleasure they derive from certain things. And again, I also received internal affairs blips saying it panned out. They watched the blips, GPS blips meet somewhere, and one of the GPS blips got on top of the other GPS blip. And they started boffing away. So they get turned on by it. So what you do is you look at the frequency of sexual activity, and it would increase while they were doing it to a victim. They were highly, highly sexualized. I opened up a new ketchup recently. Hopefully, I have a ketchup. No, I might have a ketchup that I can use. I'm used to this, man. They'll go to hell for it. Mueller went to hell before he died and after he died. That's in the back of their mind. They won't articulate because they're trained not to articulate certain things. That makes them mad. The ending of their little hero Mueller's life. Tennant's boyfriend. That's why they attack our lives because they want us to have unhealthy lives, and so they can go, "Oh, look, but you have an unhealthy life." I mean, they're sickos, man. I saw what they did to Fred Karp. They did it to him because he was Jewish. They're anti-Semites in Baltimore. He used the same exact thing. I'm sure they drugged Fred. I didn't know it back then. Didn't even think of it. That leg problem comes from being drugged. That's also been in the news. A bunch of people that can't walk. If I was Congressman Luna, I'd go to this Justia U.S. Law. I'm calling Luna. I go, you have to realize the whole time Wayne Ritchie was bringing that case, people like Rush were out there with untraceable cash and gold bars coming against the case. So the finding that the judge found where the government didn't frustrate Ritchie's capabilities to bring a case, it would be false. Because again, we know what was going on at this point. But that statement by the judge, I don't find out. He didn't rule it out. He said quite possibly it happened. That's a big step for a judge. Like, it's just lack of evidence kind of deal. But I think he believed it happened, kind of personally. Although, here's another one. Although the court acknowledged that Ritchie's behavior may well have been consistent with an LSD-induced psychotic episode, the court noted that to take this inference to its logical conclusion would compel the court to find the LSD is the likely cause of almost any unexplained and superstitious exploitative behavior. But it's real, right? Court's finding he didn't carry the burden of proof. That's all. But he said they first said it's consistent, but he also said the judge also some here to find out. On December 20th, 1957, I was 57, Wayne Ritchie, then a deputy United States Marshal, attended a lunchtime Christmas party at the United States Post Office building in San Francisco. Ritchie drank a bourbon and a soda and then returned to his desk. Later that afternoon, with the party now in full swing, Ritchie took a break to down 3 or 4 more bourbon and sodas, which he began to feel paranoid and worthless. But if you go, I'm trying to get to that statement. Right. They're willing me not to find it. I can hear them. I'll just go back to the search engine because that's where it was. But I got to get the complete statement. Oh, these narcissistic officers, in a second, they would jump on something like this to make them feel big and bad. While they sneak into people's homes while they're not home. Okay, this is a troubling case. Ritchie filed suit over 4 decades after the events in question, and that's how it works. Again, they, you know, right. Just even trying to file for disability once they target you is very difficult. Right. I finally got somewhere with it. I should have probably received that same disability in 2013. But then they couldn't do what they were doing to me and did do to me. Again, it's weird because I didn't get the minor disability in 2013. I'm actually there's a case out there. If it's provable, it definitely is. But again, the deep state would spend immense amounts of money to crush it. But it's probably worth $1 billion. We're talking about 30 years or over 30 years actually. But 30 years would probably pretty. Actually, it's over 30 years at this point. Right. It's at least 33 years of hardcore activity. What they make you believe is just this is how the government workplace works, but it's not. Or try to make you believe. We think it is quite possible that everything Richie says did happen. That Richie was drugged by his own government. Actually, I think this is the evaluators of the case. I'm not sure what I'm. Oh, Supreme Court dismissal. Right. It did happen that Richie was drugged by his own government and suffered great personal and financial hardships as a result. Although it is possible that Richie was drugged, the district court's finding that he has not proved it is not clearly erroneous. Yet we know some people were drugged. The government admits as much. Richie's allegations of Cold War drugging by the CIA may thus be true. And though he could not prove them to the satisfaction of the district court, if Richie's claims are indeed true, he has paid a terrible price in the name of national security. That's a prepared statement that was meant to go out. Well, your answer to why Richie couldn't get a case together and why it never succeeded is Rush, gold bars, and untraceable cash. Right. And going into the judge's house and turning the lights off while he's out or she's out. Right. By that one action of doing that in my home, you've invalidated the entire criminal justice system from the lowest court all the way up to the Supreme Court. Take your kangaroo court and shove it up your ass. God will take over and rule. It doesn't mean that God's going to validate every case, but God will now own your court systems. And if you do wrong, God will punish you. If you do wrong in your court system, you'll be punished. Enough of the bullshit.